Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us to talk about the Ally Challenge. My name is Dina Firas, and I'm the Managing Director and Chief Program and Partnerships Officer at Out and Equal. We are really excited about today. Myself having lived and breathed workplace equality indices, having been at the Human Rights Campaign for over a decade, running the Corporate Equality Index, I feel a special kinship with our guests today and our partners from Stonewall and Pride Circle India. A note that they have recently launched the India Workplace Equality Index, which is a critical effort to guide and work with major employers across India on foundational LGBTI policies, benefits, and practices. We know, though, that in this global movement for workplace inclusion, policies, benefits, what's on paper, those are absolutely necessary, but they're not sufficient, as we might say, for full global inclusion. And that's where we turn to what is actually an exciting opportunity for us as individuals. So in other words, you don't have to be the CEO, you don't even have to manage somebody to be able to grow your sphere of influence within a particular corporation and promote what we call at Out and Equal the business of belonging. And when we talk about belonging, fundamentally, belonging is that almost intangible sense that we know we have when it's there, a sense of being seen, a sense of being recognized for who we are, not despite who we are, and a sense that we are valued by our employers. And so when Ram, Srini, and Pete reached out to us about this exciting endeavor, we jumped right in. We're glad that looks like several hundred of you from around the world are also jumping right in. So without further ado, let me pass the baton over to my friend and colleague in the movement, Pete Mercer from Stonewall, UK.
Thank you so much, Dina, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this webinar today. My name's Pete Mercer, as Dina just said. My pronouns are he and him. I work for the LGBT charity called Stonewall, which operates out of the UK, and my role there is Head of Global Partnerships, which basically means my role is to oversee our strategic partnerships with both within both corporate sectors, but also with civil society, and see where we can join these efforts together. Prior to that, I worked in Stonewall for about 5 years, delivering and managing the Diversity Champions program, which is our flagship workplace program aimed at supporting employers to embed LGBT inclusion across their businesses, both at the domestic and the global level.
Thank you so much, Pete. And so for some time, Out and Equal has worked in India with our partners from Pride Circle, including workplace forums, and we continue to grow our imprint together. And so at this time, I'd love to call in our colleagues from Pride Circle to tell us more about the challenge.
Thank you, Dina. Thanks a lot, Out and Equal and Stonewall, for this wonderful partnership. I am Ram. I'm the co-founder of Pride Circle. Pride Circle is a diversity inclusion premier consultancy which helps organizations to really enable and empower LGBT inclusion in the workplace. So today we're going to talk about this way of celebrating Pride Month. We're in a world of the pandemic and lockdown. I call it a world of physical distancing and social connecting. Allyship becomes more important today, and it's really important that we connect with each other socially. While there are barriers where we can't meet and hug a person face to face, where you can't smile at someone as you used to do at your colleague at work, or you have those safe spaces where you could meet people from your tribe. How do we replicate those safe spaces in the digital world? So with all that thought into practice, we put this wonderful program, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, feel free to ask questions in between if you have to. And it's about let's celebrate Pride together. So with that, thank you, Out and Equal and Stonewall for this. So I'll briefly talk about who we are, and so you get a sense of. So we are a D&I consultancy with a mission to enable and empower organizations to really foster LGBT inclusion from a holistic set of offerings around audit and assessment, sensitization, hiring from the LGBT talent pool, skill building, policy review, mental health, all of that. We are present in all corners of India. And we're very proud of some very key initiatives which became India's first. I'm going to dig on that in a little bit. We established in 2017. We have worked with more than 150 trusted partners, and we have touched more than 30,000 plus lives. If I look at the focus areas for Pride Circle, it's about the LGBT community, organizations we work with, and research and content in this space. For community, we have been building safe spaces since inception, which came in the form of face-to-face meetups. Interestingly, when the time we were putting this together, there was a gap between what workplaces knew about LGBT people and what LGBT people expected from the workplace. So creating safe spaces where people could come together, share their coming out stories, share best practices, building a network which is of passionate individuals who are working in the space of LGBT inclusion, really support each other so we can really move the needle quicker and faster, right? So that from face-to-face meetups, we went to digital space of WhatsApp groups, which became city-based WhatsApp groups. Again, a safe space where you can share ideas, ask questions you have, and really learn about each other. For organizations, we do hiring, webinar series, mentoring, and reverse mentoring programs targeted for business leaders. We also do a lot of industry connects in terms of D&I roundtables, assessment, audits, consulting, and sensitization. These are some of our trusted partners. So this is a quick snapshot of our journey, which we call the 3 years of disrupting the ecosystem. In 2018, we started Outgrow, which was India's first program for LGBT, where both the mentors and the mentees were from the community. A lot of us have to pick between choosing a career and choosing our identity. What it basically means that if I come out at work, will my career be impacted negatively because of that? And it's not an irrational fear because many people in the past have faced that. So having a program where the mentors are also from the same community who have been through the same journey really makes a big difference. Before 2019, July 12th, when we did India's first ever LGBTI job fair called RISE, which is Reimagining Inclusion for Social Equity, no one in India was looking at what the LGBTI talent pool looks like. After the job fair, we have now very key insight into what the LGBTI talent pool looks like and how we can really place them and provide more and more opportunities at equitable workplaces. Today, we have the largest LGBTI talent database. 2020, as Dina shared earlier, we are very proud and honored to partner with Stonewall and KSF to bring Workplace Equality Index to India. Our work has been extensively covered both by national and international media. Today, we are here to talk about the next big disruption, which is the 21 Days Ally Challenge. So a lot of focus has been on the LGBT community, but the larger society has a big role to play if we talk about real integration and a quicker and a faster movement towards a more equitable society for all of us. Even at workplaces, there are a lot of programs where you're able to sign up allies, get some visible allyship, but you're not really able to truly engage allies. So this challenge is built with the thought of not only providing information to allies about what the LGBT community is, what the laws about this community are, but also providing them an opportunity to really practice allyship. So the objective is to build a community of passionate allies, take conscious steps to recognize and neutralize biases, and to make a holistic social impact. So while through the challenge, there are certain target numbers of number of people we can really engage in this program, but there's a much bigger goal beyond the short-term goal of engaging n number of allies, and I'll cover that later in the slide. The idea is about gamifying allyship. So doing the right thing is more fun when we do it with our friends, when we sign up as teams and compete against each other and everyone wins. So there's opportunity to nominate your friends and win together. In the series of 21 micro challenges spread over a period of 30 days actually. So this Pride month, starting 1st of June till 30th of June, you will have one challenge, a series of 21 challenges you can complete within a day. Some challenges would take something as minimum as 5 to 10 minutes, and some could take a couple of hours. Um, and there are 7 days of buffer in case you need a break in between or you need a couple days extra to finish something. Let's say it's about watching an LGBT film and you fell in love with watching LGBT films, and for the next 2 days you're just watching LGBT films. You can move to the next challenge a couple days later. You a participant would earn points, um, and they will feature in the leaderboards. Now there are two leaderboards here. One is an individual leaderboard, which talks about the individual total score, and the other is the organizational leaderboard score, which is called the group score. I'll come to that in a bit. Now, why 21 days? Because it's scientifically proven that it takes 21 days to form a new habit, to build a new thought process and perspective. How do we really build an engagement which is more than just a touch point? So how do we go about this? So as participants sign up using your social media handles, which would be either Facebook or Twitter, uh, or your personal email ID or official email ID by May 30th. Upon sign up, you'll receive a referral link, which you can share in your network. So everyone who signs up with that link, you get referral bonus for that. Sign up and progress would be tracked in real time on two leaderboards. One is of individual, other is the group. The group could be an organization, team, institution, any of it. Starts on 1st of June, and all complete challenges must be completed by 30th to qualify for rewards. Yeah. So top 10 scorer, both in the individual and the group category, will receive awards, which would be non-monetary, as in non-cash rewards. So these are some sample challenges. So let's say the day one challenge is I'll watch a short LGBT film. Uh, there would be a list of movies which you can choose from. You can also choose movies outside the list. And the call to action would be either share the movie in your social media. Yeah, and you get completing challenge, you get 5 points, and you get listed on the leaderboard. The day two challenge could be I learn about Soji-esque. Reference material around all the topics would be posted on our website, uh, and sharing the learnings on the platform. So not everything is about sharing on social media. A lot of it also is about introspection and noting down for yourself. When we talk about partnerships and outreach, so very important to share that all of this is free of cost. There is no cost of participation for individual or organization. So encourage people to participate. As an organization, encourage your employees to participate, promote internally, leading and during the campaign. So you build that momentum, build that allyship within the organization. It's effectively a great platform where, let's say if the challenge is about watching a movie, you can watch it as a team together, right? Uh, how do we really build that momentum of allyship within the organization by leveraging this platform, right? You can also build an internal story and vlogs on reasons to participate and why as an organization you value allyship. There's also an opportunity that you can use this platform and recognize your top scoring allies within your organization. There are also sponsorship opportunities, which is one is a powered by, which is a cash sponsorship, and the other is a reward sponsorship where it's non-monetary. So something we call the mystery box. This is what the winners take away. Uh, Now, as an organization, you also have an opportunity to contribute to the mystery box. So whatever item you choose to contribute should be 10 in number because all 10 winners will receive the same reward. You can provide any item not necessarily listed in this box here, uh, and it can have your branding. Yep. And shared earlier, very delighted to make this truly global. And we have partnership with Out and Equal, Stonewall, HRC, and Shanghai Pride. And we are working with more organizations to take it to a truly global level. So while it is a global competition, it is also very local in the sense, let's say the challenge is about understanding of events from the LGBT community in your neighborhood. So when you sign up for this, you would have resources which are local to you. In a sense, you will also get to know what are the LGBT owned businesses in my city, in my country, or LGBT organizations in my country. Even if it's talking about movies, they would be of various different languages. So the content would still be local and resonate with you. So I talked about the aspect of creating a larger social impact through this, and some of these predictions. So we have a target of mobilizing more than 100,000 allies to this program, and the kind of partnerships we have already got and the kind of companies who already signed up for it, we expect this number to be much higher than in reality. So a boost to the pink economy through supporting LGBT entrepreneurs, filmmakers, musicians, artists, influencers, uh, promoting LGBT plus friendly brands and the services, and a higher footfall for LGBT events. Uh, Inclusion movement, we're looking at creating pledges for organizations and individuals, parents, education institutions, forming pride support networks because there are so many more allies who are passionate about it, who know about the community, and also know how to contribute. We're talking about really building a global, visible allyship for the LGBT community. There are opportunities of volunteering, opportunities to advocate the work of LGBT groups and collectives, and spotlight community organizations which are working in your locality. And the overall goal is of a safer world where we see a reduced bullying in both physical and digital spaces, less discrimination, bias, and stereotypes. Appreciation for pronouns and usage of pronouns. How do we really increase usage of pronouns so that more and more people understand it and start using it correctly? That brings me to the end of my presentation. So thank you for bearing with me. Now, if you have questions, happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, Ram. And the contact information is on the screen, contact@thepridecircle.com. We are getting some great engagement in the chat box. But before we turn to Q&A, actually, I want to make sure that Pete Mercer can say a few words about some of the additional work that Stonewall is contributing. So Pete, if you want to get back on video, that'd be terrific. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dina. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say a few words about why we at Stonewall are so excited about this campaign. Thank you so much for going through those slides, Ram. They're super informative, and I think a really, really good and very clear picture of it, exactly what you're trying to achieve through this campaign. But I think it's important that we consider exactly why organizations should be rallying to encourage their employees as well as their other contacts to be active allies at this moment in time. At Stonewall, we believe that allyship is a major pillar in our kind of theory of change, and that's because we believe that change starts with the individual. And that really everyone in society has the potential to affect really meaningful change. But I think one of the reasons why this campaign is going to work so well is that allyship is particularly effective when it has a ripple effect. So I think the kind of the gamification model being used here, spreading the campaign through social media, I think is a really innovative way of multiplying the impact that can be had, and often and really within quite a short space of time as well. I also think that people, when they think about allyship, at Stonewall we often talk about what allyship isn't almost as much as what it is. And I think in terms of a concept of allyship, sometimes people have images of undertaking really grand, heroic acts. But the reality is that allyship takes form in a myriad of different ways and can exist simultaneously in lots of different ways. And actually, this isn't always about being on the front of a pride parade. You know, a lot of the simple, straightforward actions that allies can take can be taken from inside the home, which is obviously really quite a salient point right now. So I think the digital nature of this campaign, the possibility for this to reach both at the local level, as Ram says, as well as to be shared at the global level, I think is particularly exciting. I also think it's potentially quite easy for people to be a little bit overwhelmed when they consider allyship, because I think it sometimes feels like there's great responsibility in being an ally. And while that may be true, I think it's important that people realize that it's really quite straightforward if you break it down into kind of bite-sized, manageable chunks, which is why I think the 21 days aspect of this campaign is a really helpful way of bringing people along in this journey. I also just want to speak quickly as to why it's important right now in the context that we all find ourselves in. I'm guessing that people are probably seeing, especially in LGBT media, that that there are a lot of changes at the moment with respect to LGBT rights. Just as our community feels like it is securing a win in one country, elsewhere in the world, our rights are being rolled back. And I think it's fair to say that we are potentially even more vulnerable in the context of this global crisis. More vulnerable, that's if people fail to act. So I guess my kind of call to arms around this campaign is really the bigger picture here, which is that we are stronger when we are united in the face of our struggles. And where LGBT voices themselves are marginalized, having support in the form of allies from outside of the LGBT community can really help to amplify our rights, our experiences, and our needs. Because I think the truth is there's really no such thing as being neutral on the matter of LGBT rights. To be non-homophobic or non-biphobic or non-transphobic is perhaps to simply allow other people to cause LGBT communities harm and to do nothing to stop them. So in terms of a principle of allyship, this is about getting people to take an active stand against homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia, and for everybody to play their part. So I think that's probably enough from me, but I guess I just really wanted to explain why, for us at Stonewall, this is a really, really important campaign, particularly in this context. Over to you, Dina.
Thank you so much, Pete. And thank you again to Srini and Ram. I'm looking into the chat box, and for the most part, the questions are very practical and logistics based. Some reminders here then for those who perhaps can't see the chat box, excuse me. The challenge begins on June the 1st, the first day of Pride Month. You would need to be linked in by May 30th. Yes, we will be very gladly sharing all of these materials over email with all of the individuals who are on today's Zoom call, and you are most welcome and in fact encouraged to forward it across your networks. I think to bridge some of the very valuable insights that Pride Circle and Stonewall have surfaced, you know, allyship is proactive. And it does not always mean that you are marching down the street with a flag. In fact, some of the most high impact points you can have are these one-to-one connections. Something that we at Out and Equal frequently encourage people to do after these virtual engagements. You can do it from the comfort of your home. You can do it from your phone, your computer, social media, etc. But one of the most critical acts you can do is tell somebody what you did today. Tell someone that you spent an hour of your evening or your afternoon talking about LGBTI+ inclusion. Sometimes we might take for granted that these are open dialogues across our social networks, but just by respectfully and enthusiastically mentioning LGBTI inclusion, you might actually be inviting a life-saving conversation with someone who wasn't sure who they could talk to, a mom of a transgender child who had no idea that somebody in her professional networks is very invested in LGBTI equality. And so the more creative, the better when it comes to thinking through allyship. With that, and since we are a bit ahead of schedule, we were thinking that we could actually use the chat box to encourage you all to share some ways that you practice allyship.
You know,
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. So there are a lot of questions. So the other part about how to participate, how can organizations participate? So just take some minutes to talk about that.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, in the meantime, do share in the chat box about your allyship stories, because allies make the world go round, right? Friendship. So this is the website. Can you all see my screen? The pridecircle.com/21 days ally challenge. Can everyone see my screen? Can you please drop me a confirmation?
Yes, I want to just confirm that we can see
Sure.
your screen, so it's helpful to
Thank
walk
you.
through one more time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So lot of us have asked about where can we access the deck. So it is available on our website, thepridecircle.com/21 days ally challenge. The challenge registration is also open and live. So this is, you can log in using email, Facebook, Google, or Twitter. Your entries is your score. So once you log in and take up challenges, your score gets increased here in this little score. So for organization and individual, the way it works, if a company is signing up as an organization, the representative of the organization will sign up and generate the company link. So once you have that link, you can share that link with all employees, and everyone who shares with that link, that aggregate score becomes the company score, right? Uh, there was other questions. So if there are spaces about sharing on social media, the sharing still happens for all individuals. The sharing need not happen from the corporate account on social media. So let's say I work for Pride Circle and Pride Circle is participating in this, and I get the link from Pride Circle. I'll sign up from that link. Now, after signing up, I can also generate my own referral link and share with my friends and family, or share the corporate link also. Yeah. Uh, every challenge will unlock on one day at a time. So the first day you will only be seeing the first challenge. Once you complete the challenge, then only you can progress to the next challenge. The next challenge will not unlock before 24 hours. So in case you join in late, you got to know about the program later. Let's say you join on 3rd of June. So on 3rd of June, you will be able to access the 3 challenges, but it should be completed before you move to the next one. And after that, one challenge is unlocked every day. There are 21 challenges in all, and all of these must be completed by 30th of June, because that is when we end the program. Now, you can be anywhere in the world. Till the time you can access this website, you can sign up for this and participate in the challenge. So there is content on allyship available today. There are terms and conditions, and everything would be up and available on this page. So every content about movies, local NGOs, LGBT-owned businesses, all of that would be populated on this page and will be unlocked on the day of the relevant challenge.
Thank you. And we do have a question in the chat. It says, if all the participants are required to complete the challenges, would completion time be a deciding factor?
No. So how do you gain score? One is about completing the challenges, and the other is through referrals. The more people you refer to, the more you add to the score. There are some additional bonus challenges also, which are non-mandatory, but you can take them up to increase your score. In case there is tie-up, we will do a lucky draw among the to do a tiebreaker.
Thank you.
So the question on, sorry, go ahead, Dina, you take the questions and then I can answer them.
Oh, sure. There's another one that's very practically focused. Does each participant need to visit the site daily, or will there be push notifications to the participant's email?
Sure. Now there is an option for you to opt in to a daily email reminder, which will just tell you about your score and where you are in the challenge, the next challenge. If you do not want emails every day, you can also turn that off, and you'll just need to visit the website every day. We will also be posting content about every single challenge on our social media, so you can follow it up there and be reminded of the challenge coming up. That's why it makes more sense to participate as a group. Then you have a group mobilization happening, where you can also compare against your friends, where they are, how they're leading, who's winning. And it's more fun watching things, doing things in a group. So yeah, like, mobilize your local network and participate as a group.
Terrific. And I think based on the chat box, would you mind reviewing one more time exactly how participants can log in?
Sure. So you can, there are 4 ways to log in. It says an email, which is a non-Gmail email, because you also have a Google login. So any of your email service providers, any email would work. You can also log in with Facebook or Google or Twitter. So now two ways to it. One is you can directly come to the website and make your own account and go ahead with it, or you can also join in from someone's referral link. If a friend of yours has referred to you about this challenge, you can join the referral link. That way your friend gets 10 bonus points. And if you're participating as an organization, you sign up for the organization link, your organization gets 10 bonus points for your participation. Also happy to share that we have a lot of organizations already signed up for it. So let's get the signing done by 30th of May so we can all start participating on 1st of June.
Okay, terrific. And reviewing again the chat box here. Okay, so there's a really great question here that I think collectively our three organizations have some resources on, which is the company is starting its first ever DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiative, and an LGBTQ ERG. Does anyone have any suggestions on how to incorporate education around LGBTQ in workplace and allyship in the workplace into the mission of the challenge? And so perhaps, and even closer to the date of the challenge or in the middle of it, I will live on air right now offer ourselves as a resource and offer that we come together again if we would like to, Pride Circle, Stonewall, and Out and Equal, to do some continuing education around this. So there are resources on the screen right now that's being shared. And we also have resources that we can share with all the participants of today's call. I think that for this to be coming at a moment in time for an organization that's just taking on DEI and LGBT plus inclusion, a few fundamentals are important. Number one, asking oneself, does our organization have basic non-discrimination protections that cover the LGBT plus community? Typically what that will look like is language in the non-discrimination policy that references sexual diversity, or you might see sexual orientation and gender identity. If you are going to take on this challenge within a company framework, it's also important to ensure that everyone is safe in doing that. So we certainly have resources, and I know that Stonewall and Pride Circle do as well. I think it can also be very valuable if within this initial LGBT employee resource group, you have allies who are willing to tell their story, or you have LGBT plus people who are willing to tell their story or talk about the role that allies have had in their lives. Speaking from experience, it is just utterly vital for an LGBT plus person to know that they have support, not just from within the LGBT community, but also from our friends, our allies. So a few practical guidance, guideposts, if you will, to launch this challenge within the context of why the challenge is important to you as individuals. And so that will probably lend itself to some storytelling. But I'd also recommend that you pair that with some discussion, and we're here to help along with Pride Circle and Stonewall, as to why the challenge is beneficial from a business standpoint. You know, it's very reasonable, if not predictable, that you might have some skeptical leaders who say, why are we engaging in this? Is this really about business? And we know that businesses that take on DEI initiatives, businesses that fully recognize and tap into the diverse talent they have, are more successful across the board. And particularly in this crisis moment, they are better equipped to survive and thrive both during the COVID crisis and after. And so my strong recommendation is, as you launch this, we have resources on the business case for LGBTI inclusion. Take it from that individual perspective. I think Pete Mercer on this call very masterfully talked about the role of the individual, and also take it from that business imperative perspective. And that really is, I think, the strongest combination. Pete or Srini or Ram, did you want to add to that? This notion of what if we're taking on the challenge right as we're starting some other DEI initiatives?
I think it's a great way to take on the challenge, because the challenge not just looks at ways to have fun as a group, but it's also educational. So there are aspects when I just one shared, which was about I learned about SOGS, which is about sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual characteristics. There are other challenges which looks about laws, which looks about the history of the LGBT movement. So it's a very educational platform in a certain sense, where you get all those information then about the community, then you get information about the locality you are in, that what's happening in the area where you are. So what are the various organizations working in the space for LGBT people? And then there are ways how you can really support it when it comes to either volunteering for an LGBT NGO, or supporting an LGBT owned business, or being a visible ally, where you post something which is talking about I am an ally, or wear something which is of pride colors. So how do we really build that conversation of taking little action? So imagine 100,000 people taking one action a day, and that combined impact is what we're looking at as the larger holistic impact we have an opportunity to bring. So same for an organization. If you participate as an organization, and in this challenge you need not know anything about the LGBT community, or need to have a history about it to really participate. They are very basic challenges, and it's uh, there's no pre-work needed in a certain sense, and more than enough resources would be published to help you through the journey. So even as you participate as an organization, it'll be a great collective learning for everyone involved in this.
I utterly agree with everything that Dina and Ram have just said. I think there's some fantastic ideas and points there. The only thing I think I would add is that sometimes people don't necessarily feel totally comfortable talking about LGBT equality because they're not necessarily familiar with the language used. And I think we can probably all agree within the LGBT community we do have a propensity towards acronyms. So I think one thing that can be done to potentially empower people to be more confident in stepping up and taking action is to provide colleagues with terminologies and definitions of different LGBT identities, just so that they feel more equipped to talk about these identities and to take these actions.
Terrific. Thank you, Pete. And so to underscore, all of us do work together. We're here for you. This challenge will no doubt spur conversation, and it may spur some questions where you'd like a little support in how to answer them. And so I know that Pride Circle is here for you, Stonewall, and Out and Equal. Just looking again at this chat box, I think that there may be maybe some continued slight tech difficulties in terms of the link or some of the language on the link. So I know Srini and Ram will ensure that you can get that.
Yeah, we will fix that.
Yes, no problem at all.
How do you track scores? So there would be a leaderboard which would be mentioning the top 50 both for individual and top 50 for the organization category. So anyway, at the challenge you will always know your score, because if you're on screen you can see your entries is your score. So right now, because I have not done anything, so I have 0 score. Like no one has signed up here, so it's 0 score. Once you sign up, you'll get the score. And today you can sign up, and the challenge goes live in a certain sense, because from today referrals is up, and reading about allyship is up. So you can start building your score by referring people today itself, while the unique challenges for these series of 21 challenges starts on 1st of June. So you can sign up here and start referring your friends and start building your score. So there'll be an individual dashboard which will talk about the top 50 individuals, and a group dashboard which will be listing the top 50 organizational score. So you always know where you stand if you're in the top 50 comparatively to peers in your network.
Terrific, thank you. And I think that the questions have petered out a bit. If those of you who are still on would indulge us just the last few minutes here, we'd love to get a sense of where everyone is dialing in from. So if you want to put your city, your country into the chat box, it would be a fun snapshot of the diversity of people on the call. So we have everyone from Portland, Oregon, very early morning for you. Thank you for calling in. From India, from Panama, from, oh, it's flashing very quickly, throughout the United States, from Hyderabad, India, from Brazil, from Manchester, UK. This is absolutely fabulous. You know, particularly as the way that the calendar works, we head right into Ida Hobbit this weekend, which is International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. The theme of which is breaking the silence. And thanks to Pride Circle for joining us this past week for a global advocacy discussion on the meaning of Ida Hobbit and breaking the silence. Then we go into Pride Month. It's time to get engaged, it's time to get active. And I hope that all of you who have dialed in this morning know that there's a community out there for you, quite literally from Delhi, India to Geneva, Switzerland, to Ellicott City, Maryland, near Baltimore. Thanks for dialing in. We've just got an extraordinary group of people here. And so with that, oh, in Canada, wonderful. A truly innovative effort that Pride Circle has come up with. We are absolutely thrilled and honored to call you friends and partners in this, along with Stonewall. With that, I'll offer Ram, Srini, and Pete any closing words before we wind this down.
So I'll go first. This is the first level of information. We will again do another series of or provide content on our website and social media so that you know how the scores work, how the nitty-gritty of the challenges are, and there would be terms of conditions which will be very comprehensive about how to maximize your score, how to really win through this. So don't worry about it if you did not get everything through this particular challenge, and you can always write to us at contact@theratofthepridecircle.com. You can also reach out to Out and Equal and Stonewall, and we will be sharing all the information with you. This was just to give you a sense of what the entire thing looks like, and we are here to support you throughout the journey with every single challenge and everything else. So you can reach out to us at any point of time, and we'll be happy to enable allyship in this global world, in this global community.
I think my final words would just be to spread the word. You know, Pride Circle, you know, in partnership with ourselves and Out and Equal, you know, are providing a mechanism here through which people can encourage more and more people to stand up for LGBT equality. As I said earlier, I think it's important right now, just as ever. We're seeing huge changes across the globe, and so I think now is a really important time for us to hold true to the things that really matter. So I think this is a great mechanism for ensuring that LGBT people are made visible, are given a voice, and aren't left behind.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Pete. Thank you again to Pride Circle, Ram and Srini, and Stonewall UK, Pete Mercer. Thank you all for dialing in. Despite
last comment, Dina. Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, one last comment, because this is what we started with. We did talk about the index in the beginning. So again, if you are a company which is working in India and you'd be interested to participate in the Workplace Equality Index, reach out to us or Stonewall. We'd be happy to help you with that as well.
Thank you, terrific. And we'll gladly also include that in the follow-up. So thank you for that. So please do expect an email from us to come to you tomorrow. And as we said, spread the word, forward along the information on the 21-day Ally Challenge. You know, despite the rather unusual circumstances of Pride Month this year, we're very confident that with this community, that we are continuing to grow globally. We will get through this, we will sustain each other along the way, and we will emerge together even stronger for it. So thank you all so much. We will be in touch tomorrow. Good afternoon and good evening to those of you in the APAC region. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for moderating, Dina.
Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Dina.